She kept blocking my garage because she felt she could. She kept blocking my garage because she felt she could. Update. Didn't expect this to blow up, but the reason LaCrystal didn't park in front of her own garage was because the building was old with old garage doors that extended out before going upward. The door would have hit her car, which wasn't even hers. It belonged to Uber. If she moved further away, she would have been blocking the narrow alley that barely had enough room for one car to drive through. I no longer live there, but she did something else dumb right before I left. The building had a no pet policy. Well, she got a Yorkie because she's above the rules. Maintenance entered her apartment one day for some scheduled work they informed all the tenants about ahead of time. The dog freaked out and bolted out the door when the men entered. It ran out into the street and was hit by a car. Sadly, it didn't make it. She blamed property management because it wasn't her dog and she was watching it for a friend. Wherever she is now, I'm sure she's blaming someone else for her transgressions. Original. Years ago, I moved into an apartment with individual garages in the alley behind the building. The building had 10 units, 8 studios, and 2 one-bedroom apartments. I had a one-bedroom. The day I was moving in, I met LaCrystal. She lived in one of the studios on the opposite end of the building, and she immediately informed me, I park there, referring to in front of my garage. Parking is scarce in that area, and street sweeping is done at odd hours, like 3:30 a.m. So when people find a spot, they don't move until they absolutely have to. They'll Uber places instead of driving. I asked why she didn't park in her own garage, and she stated she had an old broke-down car in her garage already. I told her that she needed to find another parking spot as I leave for work most days at 4 a.m. She then gives me her phone number and just says, "Call me and I'll move." I'm already thinking of all the work I have to do moving in and setting up, so I just say okay as to not ruffle any new neighbors' feathers. And I just didn't feel like arguing with someone 5 minutes within moving in. Calling her to move her car started out okay, but quickly turned into a pain. There were times I'd call her, and 10 minutes later I was still waiting. I'd call again only to be screamed at with a, "I told you I was coming, damn." It didn't stop there. There would be times I'd come home at night and couldn't get in because she blocked my garage. It got to a point that I asked her to stop. She wouldn't. The owner of the property was a buddy and client of mine, so I eventually told him about it. He then posted signs on the property saying that parking in front of garages would result in the vehicle being towed. Well, one night I came home with my GF and she was in front of my garage. I called her 3 times and she sent it to voicemail each time. I walked up to her unit and heard her inside talking crap about me calling her. No problem. I called the tow truck and had her car towed. I left my girlfriend in my place the next morning while I went to work for a few hours. She called me and said LaCrystal was standing outside my window on her phone talking loudly. Some beach S&A who think he's something because he lives in a one-bedroom got my car towed for no reason because he's a beach, is what I was told, she said. When I got home, LaCrystal was standing in the courtyard with a devilish grin on her face. She greeted me with a, "Hello, neighbor," like I was supposed to be scared of her. I said hello back and went inside. She got on her phone and called someone and continued to talk about me, saying I owe her $300 and I better pay it if I want to keep breathing. The next day she had a guy, I'm assuming her man, come over to intimidate me. Now I'm 6'4", 215 velarbs. This guy was 6'5", 250 labs at least. For the next week, anytime I walked outside, he would just come out and give me a menacing stare. I stared back, but no words were ever exchanged. Well, I didn't pay her jack, and she got towed again a few days later for parking in front of someone else's garage. This time, the owner, my buddy, drove by and saw her car and called it in. She was towed at least 2 times after that, along with a buddy she had parked in front of someone else's garage. Of course, she thought I had something to do with it.